Oh yes, out on another adventure. And if you couldn't tell where I am from that first little introduction, then I've got to be honest, you'd be no good in a pub quiz. I am, of course, in Wales, but to narrow it down, I'm in the heart of Wales, the Cambrian Mountains, an area that is rarely visited, but in my opinion, is absolutely amazing. Now, do you know, on this video, I'm not actually going to tell you that much about the Cambrian Mountains themselves, because this is actually my second day in the area. And if you want to find out more about why this area is so special to my heart and why I'd recommend anybody come here, then it's probably worth checking out my previous video from last week, or in my little world, last night. But yeah, if you'd rather skip this one, that's fine as well. So yeah, my plan when coming here was to actually spend a couple of days exploring sort of the highest mountain in the Cambrian Mountains, which is called Pumlumon. But the track I'm on at the moment isn't actually anywhere near that mountain. But please, don't pause it there and give up wondering what on earth I'm rambling on about. There is a reason why I've taken this little detour, and it's because I've decided to head to a little mountain bothy, which is not a million miles away from where I was last night. I'll tell you more about it when I get there, but it's only about, well, from the road to where I parked up to the bothy, it's just over the mile, so it shouldn't be too long. I'll see you there. Oh, so look at this. The sun has finally come out, and 30 minutes after I left the car, I've arrived at my destination. Now, I believe this bothy is called Nant Syddion. Anybody watching this who's Welsh, if you feel free to correct me if my pronunciation is a little bit off. But I tell you what, looks like I haven't been in yet, but it looks like quite a roomy bothy. It looks like there's downstairs and an upstairs as well. We'll go and explore all the rooms in just a minute. But the first thing I thought about when I saw this was just imagining sort of a house like this down near London, what this would cost with the I don't know, with the view that you're about to see. I'm guessing you wouldn't get much change for £1 million. But as I pan around, check out the view from that front door. You've got your forest over there, plenty of wood, and mountains in every direction. Absolutely incredible. And once again, it just amazes me that at some stage, this bothy was actually a house. Somebody would have lived here. Incredible. I suppose if you want the rural ideal, then this pretty much does it. Anyway, enough waffling. Let's go in and explore. Right, I'm actually not sure if anybody is home, so I guess I should knock first. Anyone home? Hello? Nope, but if I look at it, I've got it to myself. Lovely. There we go. There's your welcome sign and your sort of, I don't know, some bits there about the toilet you can use, the drinking water. Some funny information there as well about the toilet, if you fancy pausing and having a read. And as you can see, this bothy does belong to, it's part of the Mountain Bothy Association. So first impressions, not too bad at all, and there is plenty of firewood if you're planning to spend the night here. I'm literally stopping by for about half an hour, but you can see you've got your stove down there, keep you nice and warm on a cold night. Somebody kind has left, I don't know, sort of something to sleep on. And if we go through to this room here, this sort of looks like a bit of a kitchen area. Bit low on the old utensil front, but still, work surfaces, better than nothing. And another place to sleep. You get a fair few people in here, that's for sure. And you know, as I suspected, there is an upstairs as well. Let's go and have a look. So at first impressions, it does seems like quite a welcoming bothy. Mind you, I'm saying that in daylight. If I was here at night on my own, I'm not sure I'd be feeling the same way. But there you go, plenty of space to have a sleep there. Same in here as well, and it's pretty clean. Stayed in worse bothies, that's for sure. And there's even a third room as well, over here. Fantastic little place. Oh, so it feels so much better for a bit of food, something to drink, and some company as well while I was eating. That was a bit of a bonus. Wasn't expecting that on a Wednesday afternoon, out in the middle of nowhere. But yeah, a couple of nice guys turned up shortly after I did. Father and son, who are from a little town called Tregeron. It's actually a little town that I have been to before, Yeah, not too far from here. And actually, John, sort of the dad, was telling me that he actually owns a campsite. So he's given me his number and said that if I'm ever in the area again and I fancy stopping by, that'd be more than welcome. I will say that is one of the great things about Bothy's. When you turn up, you never know who you're going to meet, but I'd say pretty much every single time you do meet anybody there, they're like-minded people who are just, happy to share whatever they've got and share some stories as well. We did plenty of those. But yeah, the last thing I'll say is, that Bothy I visited, that's one of many actually in this area. Well, I say many. I think there's about 5 altogether in the Cambrian mountain region. But then there are many others as well, all over the United Kingdom, in the national parks and other very, very remote areas like the North Pennines, for example. And all they are, they're just very, very simple structures. Some of them used to be homes at one stage, and they're there as a refuge against sort of bad weather. And if you were to get an injury or something like that, you don't want to be caught out in the middle of nowhere, being exposed to the elements. So they really can be a lifesaver. I think that's one of the reasons why I love them. But I think the other thing I love about them is the fact that they've all got, a lot of them are quite old buildings and they've got a lot of history attached to them. There is one not too far from here apparently that is haunted. I might go back and explore that one at some point. But anyway, I think we've seen the Bothy. I will definitely come back at some point, maybe to stay. But let's head on now, let's get back to the car and let's get back to Plynlimon. We've got unfinished business there. Well, here we go. I'm on the lowest slopes of the big boy itself, the main man of the Cambrian Mountains. It is, of course, Pumlumon. Now, the plan this evening is to head all the way to the top, following this track to somewhere pretty special. I'm not going to tell you about it now. You'll see more about it when, I'll tell you more about it when I get there. But that looks about 2 kilometres away. But as expected, it's straight uphill, and I can tell this is going to be pretty tough. But hey, no pain, no gain, as they say. Let's stop moaning and let's keep going. So here we go. I have reached that final destination that I spoke about. Check out those views behind. They're not bad, are they? But if I pan around, you'll see what I've come for. It is this. I think it sort of counts as a reservoir. It looks like a lake, but it has been sort of dammed to store the water. But still, it is rather nice, I reckon. And the weather's pretty good as well now. But I can't help but notice that massive wall of rock behind, and that, of course, is Pumlumon, which I'm going to have to scale in a few minutes' time. I've been sitting for a few minutes, actually chatting too. If I come round again, I'm not sure if you'll be able to see them in the distance, but I was chatting to a nice family that have just been up there. They were saying that actually the conditions are pretty good. It's a bit nippy, but it's not too windy, and there are a couple of shelters as well, which get you completely out of the wind. So I am planning to camp up there, but I'll have to actually think about exactly whether I'm going to camp or whether I'm going to bivvy once I get up there. Anyway, I need to stop talking. It's about 6:45. Guys, it's going to take me about 3/4 of an hour to get up, so let's crack on. So after more climbing, I've turned a bend and I've been greeted with this. That is the final push to the top. Might not look much, but I tell you from here, it does look pretty steep. But there is a clear path going up. That's one good thing. And the other great thing is that view. Look at it. Seems the weather gods are right. And if that weather over there is coming this way, it's going to be a lovely evening up there. Cannot wait. Let's go for the final push. Oh, yes. It appears that I've pretty much reached the summit. That looks very much like the trig point of Pumlumon Far, the highest point in the Cambrian Mountains. I've got to do the touristy thing. I've got to walk all the way to it and put my hands on that piece of stone. Let's go for it. So here we go. Final few steps over a few rocks. I want to take it carefully. I do not want to sprain an ankle up here. Here we go. Here is the trig point. Going to move out. Moment of truth. Yes! What a great moment. I'm sure any of you watching this who love to hike and climb mountains, this is just such a good feeling because you work so hard to get up here. But yeah, I've wanted to do this for ages. I've wanted to reach the top of Pumlumon for, well, you know, for a good year or so, and I finally managed it. 752 metres. Well, if you like to think in feet, that's a good 2,500 feet. And I reckon, well, I think what I'll do in a minute is I'm going to show you the amazing 360 view. So I'm going to stop talking and let's cue the dramatic music. Let's go for it. Oh, not bad, eh? What a view. Well worth every single step. But anyway, now I've admired the view, the next thing I need to do is find somewhere to camp. And there's hardly any wind up here. It really is amazing. We actually think that this is the highest bit of ground around for quite a considerable distance. I mean, the next highest bit of ground if you go south is in the Brecon Beacons. And if you go north, the highest ground is going to be in Snowdonia, which, so either way, you know, this place is completely exposed to all of the winds. So I am so lucky to have it like this tonight. But yeah, I'm thinking, do I stay in the bivvy? I mean, that would be a really sort of wild experience, or do I use the tent? I mean, at the moment, I am thinking about getting the tent out, just because if the weather does change, like I suppose it can do so easily up here, then at least I've got a roof over my head, so to speak. Plus, I'm sort of protected by all the sort of bugs. I'm actually amazed how many there are up here. I was just filming that 360 and a bee decided to sort of come in for a bit of an investigation. I wouldn't expect to see bees all the way up here, but there you go. They are hardy creatures. Anyway, enough rambling about insects. Let's get camped up. Sorry, correction. Let's get tented up. That sounds very much like I should be heading to Brighton rather than be in the middle of Wales. So sorry for that. So here we go. The Jackal 2 is all pitched. Did it in about 20 minutes flat, which is near on a record. So pretty chuffed with that. Yeah, good night. Pretty flat. A little bit rocky underneath, but not too bad. The sleeping mat should be fine. But the best thing about the pitch, if I come around here, just check out the view from the porch area. That is going to be an amazing place to watch the sunset. What you can see there shimmering in the distance is the Irish Sea. I believe that will be Cardigan Bay over there. And tucked away behind those hills will be the town of Aberystwyth, where I was earlier on. No idea how far away it is. It's pretty hard to tell when you're this high up, but it's absolutely beautiful. The plan now, before I can sit and actually chill with a beer and enjoy my views, I'm going to get a bit of food on because the tummy is rumbling. So I'm down for broth for starter, I reckon. And then I've got a nice Irish stew. Get in touch with my Irish side of the family. Looking forward to it. Let's get cooking. Well, would you Adam and Eve it? It appears Plynlimon Mountain has its own cooking area. Now, do you know, I've watched so many YouTube videos of others where they go to the tops of mountains and you often find these stone shelters, but I've yet to actually visit one until tonight. And it's amazing. I mean, it's not quite the Bothy that I visited earlier, but if you were up here and the weather came in and it was really windy, this would come in really handy indeed. You know, really protect you. And the great thing as well is I called it a cooking area because we all know that when you've got a stove like this and it's windy, it's almost impossible to cook outdoors. And cooking in your tent is a bit risky. But this kind of eliminates the need to even do that because even with the wind, you can still cook. Anyway, I've already enjoyed my starter, a nice Scotch broth, that went down really well. Now I've just got the Irish stew to finish off. Next time you see me, I'll be enjoying this and tucking into a beer, enjoying the view. See you in a sec. Oh, well, I found a nice comfortable spot to sit. I tell you what, all of this sort of, I don't know what you call it, like really thick grass on the ground makes it a bit like a cushion. So, moment of truth. And, you know, my girlfriend Louise has said that she's had this before at work and it's quite nice. It doesn't look great. Let's hope it tastes better than it looks. Here we go. I tell you what, Asda have come up trumps again. That is not bad. And as if by magic, I've got, it's not quite a pint of Guinness, but I have got a Denver milk stout. So close enough. I think that goes quite well with the Irish stew. Gonna crack this open and enjoy. All of the dinner tables I've been at, I've got to say this is one of the best. Cheers. Let's enjoy the rest of this and just keep enjoying that view. Well, golden hour has struck. I tell you what, this view, if it looks good on film, trust me, in the flesh, it's incredible. One of the most beautiful things I think I've ever seen. And honestly, I'm not over exaggerating there. This is absolutely stunning. What makes it even better is the fact there is not a single breath of wind, and the clouds are clearing as well. Tremendous. It's moments like this that just, I don't know, make you really pleased to be alive. But I'll just point out as I come over here, those mountains there in the distance, they are the mighty peaks of Snowdonia. I think that one there that you can see nearest to us, I believe that may be Cedar Idris, which is just shy of 900 metres. I've not been to the top of that, but I have camped just below it at a beautiful lake, and it's well worth the visit. As we come round, I'm not completely sure which one it is, but I think one of those high peaks in the distance may well be Snowdon. Absolutely awesome. And yeah, these mountains here, they're not as high as those in Snowdonia, but I'm sure you'd agree they are every bit as beautiful. And it's incredible, really, that this area is not a national park or even an area of natural beauty. I guess part of the reason why areas get that is because it's to protect it from being built on. But yeah, the ground here, I suppose a lot of it's covered in bog, and it's not the easiest land to develop, so there's not much risk of that. I'm going to head over to the other side of the mountain now and check out the view from the other side. Okay, here we go. I've not got the sunset this side, but you can see that big hollow down there. That is where the lake is that I visited earlier. I'm sure it's beautiful down there as well. You can see it's a big old unit, this Pumlumon. And as I mentioned yesterday in my video, this is it's not really considered, it's a mountain, but it's more considered a massif, just because, I don't know, it's a collection of summits, with this Pumlumon Fell being the highest. As I come around here, you might notice in the distance there, a wind farm. And yeah, most of them aren't moving. Doesn't surprise me at all, because there is no wind. And actually looking at those there reminds me of actually another video that I've watched. I've got a lot of love of this area, and yeah, I'll put the link below. Feel free to watch it. And that video focuses on, well, the beauty of this area, but also sort of the risks of development that are taking place, most especially that of wind farms. You can see it there. You can't help but miss it. I suppose they're useful. It's a renewable energy source, but some would consider it a bit of an eyesore. So if you fancy checking out the video, there's some great footage of other areas of the mountains as well, then yeah, do feel free to do that. Right, I'm going to stop talking, I'm going to get back, and I'm going to enjoy now. I'm going to sit and enjoy the rest of that sunset. Well, what can you say to that footage? Unbelievable. Hope you've enjoyed it as much as I have this evening. And I'll tell you, without trying to sound too hippie-ish, this evening, it's been so spiritual, man. No, joking aside, it really has been. I mean, for someone like myself that comes from near London, where I'm used to all of the noise and the light that comes with it, you couldn't get further away from it, really. There's hardly a sound up here, apart from the odd grouse that I can hear in one of the valleys below. That is it. There is no other sound, and it's all the better for it. And I tell you, Don't let the light on this camera fool you. It's darker than it appears. And yeah, I'd be expecting to see some of the, I don't know, some of the lights coming on in sort of the little villages around. But I'm really realising now why they call this place the Green Desert of Wales, because there are hardly any lights at all. Incredible. So sparsely populated. So yeah, as I do a 360 there and come back to where I started, all I'm going to say is, nights like this, they are really, really special. And it just makes you so pleased to be alive. If you've never done anything like this before, hopefully this footage here has made you realise that it's well worth doing. Trust me, you will not regret it at all. Anyway, I will say it's, I'm going to stop rambling on. It's already about 20 past 10. Still a little bit of light in the air. But yeah, I'm going to think about trying to get to bed soon, just because I want to try and get up early, catch a bit of the sunrise, and then head back to the car. Oh no, don't want to think about that. So yeah, I'll finish the footage there. All I'll say is, good night, and I shall see you in the morning. Auf Wiedersehen. Well, good morning. It's just before 6, and yeah, to be honest, I've been awake for well over the hour because I had a pretty interesting alarm call this morning. And about 4:30, I was suddenly awoken to the sound of voices, and for a split second, I thought I was in trouble. I thought they'd sent the search party out to sort of search for I don't know, because of reports of a strange bloke camped outside on the top of the Cambrian mountain's highest peak. But no, I didn't need to worry. Listening out, it was just the voices of some young people up enjoying the sunrise. And I'll be honest, if you are one of those people watching this video, then I'm going to say, I haven't got a hat, so I'm going to take my hood down to you and say, chapeau, great job. Because I laid there doing the maths, and I realised that to have got up here at that time, they must have got out of their beds at about 2 o'clock this morning. So that is a hell of an effort to enjoy the sunrise. I must say, I didn't actually see the sunrise in the end because I just couldn't be bothered, because yeah, I got that amazing sunset last night, and I figured that, yeah, it wasn't really going to top that. Plus, I didn't really get the best night's sleep last night. That was a combination of, I don't know, the wind picking up, I reckon, and also the cold. I mean, we might now be in the, sort of the beginning of June, but I tell you, if it was above freezing, it was only by a degree or two. So I'm actually really, really glad that I bought my decent sleeping bag, and also, I'm not sure if you can see it, yeah, my bivvy bag as well. It's amazing. It does a really, really good job in actually sort of trapping the heat and keeping you warm. But yeah, it was definitely needed last night, along with this down jacket. So anyway, the plan now is to enjoy a bit of brekkie, and then enjoy that descent back down to the car for that long journey home. But I will say, yeah, thanks ever so much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed it. Don't forget to click like and subscribe. So, because it won't be long until I get itchy feet again and I'm out in the wild. So, hope you can join me then. Until then, take care of yourselves, and thanks ever so much for watching once more. See you later.